Hello, and welcome to the Steve Discovery Network. Today we are tracking a very small group of Steves known as the Younglings by the locals. This pair of youngling Steves has known to cause great havoc to the older, more elderly Steves during their biannual yearly migration towards the spawn chunks. We see here the younglings here trying to take dominion over the hill from this grand iron-sticked Steve. It appears that the Iron Stick Steve has shown too much girth to them, and he just will not let them take over this area. A vast nature takes its course. As we trek across the majestic landscape of Minecraft, we see that the Steve has now changed into the golden-footed Steve. The golden-footed Steves are known to be some of the slower types of Steve, called by how their feet tend to... Hello, and welcome to Steve Discovery. Today we have encountered a very rare sort of Steve. Our local researchers have found that this Steve's name is Bryant, with a W apparently. Bryant has unfortunately fallen on hard times. He cannot find a mate, and unfortunately he stubbed his toe trying to make his way out here. Today we are following Bryant on his grand discovery of himself and the spawn chunks. We hope for the best of him, and we do our best not to lose track. We follow Bryant in a resource gathering area. This is quite a dangerous place in Minecraft, as resources are pillaged for and stronger Steves come through to make their way. We spot a skirmish among Steves here, as they try to claim host over all of those chests here. Alas, Steves have been known to be very deadly towards their own species. But alas, as we here, the Steve Discovery Network, know that Steves can be quite timid and shy. Also, we don't think Bryant made it in that last skirmish. In fact, I don't think we're going to make it quite either. Today we have spotted the rare Steve plants. These rare Steve plants are quite a delicacy for the local Steves in the area. The Steves here have known to actually quite take an interest in these rare desert delicacies. For alas, these Steve plants are high in fiber, protein, and sugar. We see here a Steve munching on a Steve plant away, getting the nutrients he needs for his grand trek across the Minecraft landscape. Such beauty and resources. Alas, it appears that the Steve has been satisfied of the Steve plant, but still there are many here for the taking. These Steve plants here are very rare, and they are quite loved amongst the Steves. For in fact, we do not know quite why it is the Steves love the Steve plant so much. Researchers have argued that perhaps it's because the Steve plant bears a similar appearance to the Steve creature. Others have cited that the Steve plant actually has this odor about it that only Steves can smell, and this odor attracts them to the Steve plant. We see a majestic golden-footed Steve making its way across the landscape. Here we see it feasting on the Steve plant. In fact, it had its way so much with the Steve plant that it appears that it has moved off into water. Actually, this looks so bizarre. These Steve plants look a lot like the Steves. I'm gonna have to side with these creatures. Soon, here we at the Steve Discovery Network might file a report that in fact Steve plants are a stage of growth amongst the Steves. They're a larva stage, it might be. However, further evidence must be gathered for it. We follow this young Steve, who was probably grown from a Steve plant as he treks into the jungle. Or the snow. Either way, the Steve doesn't mind, for in fact he's a very versatile creature. We see him majestically flying across the landscape, playing around with his many Steve friends, like the golden-footed, cow-hided, iron-hatted Steve. Oh, what fun! Nature can be so beautiful. Let us observe as Steve emerge from the burrow. It is a very rare time of year when the sun comes up at a specific angle that awakens the Steves from their hiding spots. What a glorious creature. So beautiful.